Don't you dare attack Anders. Wonderful. This is what's good. Now I got this shit. Screw that, kill those. Kill the children. You keep summoning more of them? Jesus. Oh, thank God he resisted the glyph of neutralization that got put right there. That would have sucked. Okay. What are you doing, my man? Help kill these little dicks. Die, you stupid tentacle. You should... Let's do that. Then you should do that. Let's have you use a lesser stamina draw. Then you can cast... Oh, what should you cast? Actually, you have death magic, don't you? Let's do that. You'll regain stamina like a... You'll regain health like a boss, man. Oh, he got grabbed or some shit. No, fuck that thing. Kill the mother. Blood wound. Let's go. Can I use control on you? Ah, good. It did work. Awesome. Justice needs more stamina. Let's see, we need a greater stamina draught. Let's actually use this. Oh, that hits everybody. It said hit a single target. What the hell is this? Okay, let's hit him with another life ward. And you need to heal the shit out of him. That hurts a lot. We almost got her though. Aw, she cast her shit. And there's group heal. Thornblade. Now Valana is just holding this backfield all by herself. She doesn't need any help. Oh, we won. I have to say I really like that keeper stuff. Owned. There's just one Childer grub there. Then we're all just like, whatever. That was way less climactic than the Archdemon one, where it was all like, boom, explosion. Oh, that's the ending? Alright. And they all find the deep roads. Wonderful. Good. Continues till all the old gods are gone. When the magnitude of the losses at Vigil's Keep, did a lot of people die? So a lot of people have been donating. Constable Ian and his men were able to distribute the smugglers' goods. Wonderful. The Darkspawn messenger, set free after joining the Wardens in the Battle of Amaranthine, struck out on his own. The city soon buzzed with stories of a cloaked but lisping figure who aided travelers in danger. At the same time, reports of isolated cases of the Darkspawn disease emerged. No one connected the two. But yeah, that's what I'm talking about. If Darkspawns were like to mingle with people, unintentionally, the taint could like be transferred to people, and that turns them into ghouls and shit, and yeah, not very good. Oh, here's a Blight Orphan scam. Dirk was fortunate enough to survive the battle. The unconditional generosity of the Blight Orphan's mysterious benefactor inspired him to establish a legitimate charity dedicated to children orphaned in the attack. His sweetheart Melise eventually bore him 2 rascals. Still alone against a horde of Darkspawn, the Mother's forces outnumbered the Vigil Spenders many times over. But the sturdy dwarven walls proved impervious to any ogre. You know, this would do well with some... Like, I could say, you know, at the end of Fallout New Vegas, where they actually have somebody speaking it, and like the music in the background, I think this would do well, because I can just feel the epicness in this part. But the sturdy dwarven walls proved impervious to any boulder an ogre could throw at them. The Vigil soldiers, clad in silverite, each felled a dozen Darkspawn before they died. The Vigil held 1 night, then 2, then a week, and eventually the attacking horde broke upon her walls. The keep developed an almost mythic reputation, the few survivors immortalized in song and legend. The Vigil became a trading hub that would eventually eclipse the city of Amaranthine, which traders were reassured by guards continually patrolling the pilgrim's path. But prosperity bred scheming and treachery between merchants and nobles, testing the commander's patience for years to come. Peace allowed the Wardens to replenish their numbers. Soon Vigil's Keep bore a capable army with Wardens at its core. From their ranks emerged new heroes to challenge threats to Amaranthine and all of Ferelden. Through taxes and levies, the Vigil was rebuilt. Years later, Voldric Glavonak stood on the battlements and pronounced that the defenses were acceptable. He would never speak more highly of any human engineering. Dark whispers of a conspiracy against the Wardens fell silent after a rash of accidents and disappearances, culminating in the apparent suicide of Ban Esmerel. The nobles of Amaranthine remained dutiful. Some even suggested they were cowed into submission. Oh, did I use my dark wolf side there? And totally was just like, I'm gonna murder everybody. Among the many legends that the Vigil spawned was one of the great heroes of the next age, a sheepherder turned soldier by the name of Sir Alec the Valiant, who eventually founded an order of knights that lasted 1,000 years. That might come up. I would be interested if that came up in Dragon Age 2. A sheepherder turned soldier by the name of Sir Alec the Valiant. The commander's blade, Vigilance! Oh, they attack him with my sword. Crafted from the bones of an ancient dragon, was boldly stolen by Antivan. God damn it, Antivan Crows. The blade changed hands many times thereafter, with some master swordsmen pursuing the weapon their entire lives. Some claim that this legendary blade has had a life of its own, and that its power is steadily growing. Ooh. Dworkin Glavonak further refined his lyrium sent explosives, but left the Warden's employ after Qunari mercenaries tried to assassinate him. Although the dwarven bombardier took his secrets with him, the learned say he left clues for others to follow in his footsteps. The Vigil soldiers, wearing the distinctive silverine armor that Master Wade crafted, came to be known as the Silver Order. Under the tutelage of the Wardens, the Silver Order developed into what of Ferelden's most revered military forces, a lasting memory of the Vigil's famous commander. With Valana and the Architect gone from the region, the Pilgrim's Path began to see traffic again. The massacre of the militiamen and the merchants, however, led to hostilities between the neighboring human settlements and any Dalish clans that passed by. Why can the Dalish just never catch a break? One human villager soon kidnapped and murdered a Dalish child. The clans reacted by giving the Wending Wood a wide berth, but both sides knew that at some point the elves will return for revenge. A few years after Kal Harral was emptied of Darkspawn, Orzammar began sending expeditions to rediscover the knowledge of smithing. I combined smithing and fishing a little bit. To rediscover the knowledge of smithing that had been lost within the Thaig. Eventually, House Helmi decided that Kal Harral was too important to be abandoned. At a tremendous cost of dwarven lives, they cleared the tunnels leading to Kal Harral of all Darkspawn, making the road between Orzammar and the fortress safe again. Kal Harral was acclaimed for Orzammar once and for all. As promised, Voldrik and Dorkin presented Orzammar's Shaper with a stone marker that told of how Kal Harral's castless had taken up arms against the Darkspawn. The commander of the Grey was invited to Orzammar as a guest of honor at a feast commemorating the defenders of Kal Harral. The Shaper read the names of the castless off the marker and then presided over a ceremony to return them to the stone, as befitted warriors of their stature. In time, the Arling began to forget the tales of apparitions in the Black Marsh, and ever so slowly settlers drifted into the region. Scholars said the veil was still thin, and thus the area was still dangerous, but the people only cared that there were no longer frightened whispers in the shadows. The village was slowly rebuilt. Twice the Baroness's mansion was rebuilt and occupied, once by a wealthy merchant and another time by an Orlesian mage. Both died mysteriously. Afterwards, the mansion was torn down completely and the site left untouched. Well, here we get to our companions. Anders remained with the Grey Wardens a few years longer, training the Order's next generation of mages, but when the Circle Tower called on him to deliver a lecture on the nature of the Architect, much to the Templars' dismay, Anders told the commander of the Grey that his time with the Wardens was over. Sad. And yet, not 2 months later, Anders returned to the Order. Ever after, the Wardens were his home and his lasting companions. Excellent. Glad Anders could stay with us. Valana never saw her clan again, and neither did she forsake her Dalish culture, nor her sharp tongue, nor her quick temper. Her friendship with the Warren commander changed her opinions of humankind significantly. Shortly after the Mother's defeat, Darkspawn stragglers who still remained on the surface attacked the human village. Valana was the only warden nearby and defended the village single-handedly. She did not sneer once. She could. Did you see how badly she was kicking the shit out of those grubs? Because she would kill them and she'd regen all her health back. I mean, it was just ridiculous. That keeper shit is amazing. I'm thinking that, an if you could get an arcane warrior keeper, they could be very unstoppable. I have to say, keeper and arcane warrior seem to be the best. Because if you had an arcane warrior keeper, arcane warriors can be really heavy armor, so they will take very little damage. And with those AoE spells, they can get a lot of like threat on them, a lot of aggro or whatever you want to call it, and then they'll just regen the health. The only problem is when you're an arcane warrior, you have really high fatigue, so those spells are going to cost a lot of mana. So you're going to have to. I guess you could be a blood mage as well. That might be interesting. I don't know. There's so many interesting class combinations that I haven't really tried, but I probably never will, unfortunately. At least not until Dragon Age 2. Dragon Age 2 I'm having to spend a long time dabbling in various things, but... Valana scoured the Mother's Lair for signs of her sister, but it was thought that Serani had vanished in thin air. Valana blamed the Warden Commander for choosing to kill the Architect. Certain that the Architect would have released her sister if he lived. This remained a source of friction for her as long as Gaston and Valana knew each other. Kind of sucks. Nathaniel managed to survive the battle at Vigil's Keep, leading a spirited defense in the last minutes to protect his family home. The ferocity impressed many of his fellow soldiers, who hoisted him to their shoulders and paraded him around the courtyard when the battle was done. Over the next years, Nathaniel dedicated himself to the Order and to clearing the blemishes on his family's name. After saving Terran Fergus Cousland from a bandit attack, a portion of Amaranthine was returned to the house. He saved my bro. That's my bro, Fergus Cousland. Isn't that awesome? Nathaniel passed the holding to Delilah's son, and when a new castle was eventually built there, and a statue of Nathaniel was erected in its courtyard. That's awesome. Because you remember his grandpa's one was in front of the chantry, but it got torn down, so it's good that he got his own statue. Justice served the Grey Wardens for many years, remaining in touch with Aura, the widow of Kristoff. She grew uncomfortable with the body's decay, however, and the day she told Justice she could see him no longer was the day he left the Order. Justice wished his comrades well, then Kristoff's body slumped to the ground dead. Aura finally had a body to mourn. If the spirit itself remains alive, it has not shown itself. Justice, why you gotta be like that, man? You were like the most pro. Whatever. It was Sigrun who led the charge against the Darkspawn when Vigil's Keep was attacked. Once again, she had an army behind her, and once again they fought the Darkspawn with no hope of survival. This time, Sigrun did not flee. I'm guessing she didn't die. I don't think she died. At Vigil's Keep, Oghren led a last-minute defense of the gate, taking on 2 ogres simultaneously to allow others time to regain the courtyard. He eventually passed out from blood loss, and when he awoke weeks later, nobody was more surprised than he to discover that he had been credited as a hero. God damn it, Oghren. Oghren continued to regale young warden recruits with tales of his prowess in both battle and bed. His drinking games prompted at least one recruit to declare that she'd rather reattempt the joining than lift another mug. Oh yeah. Also, I did Oghren's companion quest, because I gave out a lot of gifts to people, and I did do his quest. And yeah, so here's what I told him he needs to spend more time with his child. And so here's what he says. At the Warden Commander's urging, Oghren took a more active role in his child's life. He visited Felshi often and wrote letters, which the Warden Commander graciously proofread nearly every week. As for the Savior Ferelden, he did not remain as commander of the Grey for long. Oh, it's the commander for the Grey, for long. The Darkspawn were no longer a real concern. The Blight well and truly over. It was time for him to move on. Some claim the commander headed west into Orlais, chasing after the dark-haired sorceress who had fought alongside him during the Blight. This is probably setting it up for Witch Hunt. I'll do Witch Hunt, then Golems of Angurak is what I'll do. Whether he found her or not, he certainly did not return to Vigil's Keep. And we're done. So that's the end of Awakening. How much time do I have left? Not as long as I would like. I only have like 15 minutes. A little over 15 minutes. But Awakening was pretty fun. It's a fun little thing to play through. It's kind of like watching a comedy movie. Whereas the original one was like watching some drama. It definitely felt more involved, and I would say more professionally done, more effort put into it. You can tell that they put less effort into this via a lot of things. One of the things is obviously the plethora of bugs. And I know it's not just about losing my dagger. That is a tragedy, but there are a lot of bugs in Awakening, and there's probably several game-breaking ones that have not been patched and probably never will be patched, which is very unfortunate. So if any of you are planning to play Awakening, I would highly suggest looking up these bugs so you don't fuck yourself like I did. Because my warrior then, all he had to do was finishing the Silverite Mines, and he would have been doing the final fight against the Architect. I was probably only like 3 hours away from the end of the game with my warrior when I got that glitch that broke it. So yeah. Also, speaking of, like this music in the background, I wish the game had more music. Like some really epic music to fight the Mother. I also hope that they make some variety in the bosses, because it's always like the bosses are, they just stand there and get their ass beat, and you have to kill them fast. It's never like you have to blah 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 blah. I was honest that that one fight in the Dwarven Mines was stupid, and where you fought that stupid little like rotating thing that pissed me off. But that's not that bad of an idea though, where you have to like say you have to have some people like fight him and push him back into like some area. Then you have to send one of your guys around to shoot a ballista at him to like pierce the hard shell or something, or to do like significant damage or something. I don't know. It just seems like there's a lot of potential, I think, for Dragon Age 2, and I hope they don't mess it up. That's my biggest worry, is that they're gonna mess up stuff. Especially the combat. The combat definitely needs to be streamlined. It's very clunky. So, I hope they do that. I hope they don't make it too arcadey, because I've noticed some of the things in Dragon Age 2 where like people jump 15 feet. It's like, yeah, you can't really do that. Unless there's like a reason behind it. Like a mage might have a spell that could do that. I think it'd be interesting if they had like some dual abilities where two mages could like, you know, the spell combinations. I think that was a really fun idea. I think they should do more with that, where you can combine, say, regular warrior abilities like two-handed sweep, combine that with like, I don't know, with like a something like you combine a mage spell and a warrior technique to like have a flaming sweeping strike and it like lights people on fire or something like that. You know, stuff like that. I think they could do a lot more with the combat. And they're adding the dialogue wheel like in Mass Effect 2, if you've ever seen that, where they don't display the words, they like display the general feeling behind the words, like angry or something. That's one thing I'm worried about. See how well that works. I felt they did well in Mass Effect 2, but in a game like Dragon Age, where your dialogue... Because in Mass Effect 2, it's like, okay, Paragon and Renegade option. In this, it's a lot less like that. And there are several times where there are dialogue options that are very similar. You know, they're very similar, but they have different effects. You know, because like there's two possible like comforting options, but one of them is better because of the way you say it. And it's like I don't think you can display that through the conversation wheel. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna cut out on these credits right now because you guys can look at them later online or something. So yeah, we're done with that. Let's go into other campaigns. Let's do Witch Hunt, because I want to do Witch Hunt, because I want to figure out what happens with Morrigan, because she is in Witch Hunt, in case you couldn't get that. And I feel it's appropriate after that last part of Awakening where he's like, and the warden chased after the dark-haired lady or whatever. Also, when, when I do Golems of Amgrac again, I'm going to skip through it just to get to the boss. Because there's no point in me recording that because you guys have already seen me go through it.
Flemeth once told me that temptation lies in the forbidden.
That dog. Do I get my puppy back?
Sorry, I said.
Oh, yes I do.
Even so. Some doors should never be reopened.
That's what you say. We're gonna have more sex? No. Not really. Although we might. I don't know how this is gonna turn out. Romantic tension and all that. Get my little baby. Enter a name for the dog. It's Beast, you noobs. It's always been Beast. We get access to the warrior skills now. Let's get you Second Wind, Peon's Plight, and Threaten. I want to get him Bravery. Expand that. Let's get my little doggy dog, who still has a piece of shit armor rating. What is this? Small clearing. The death of Flemeth? Question mark. You know, it's pretty obvious she didn't die. At least I think it's pretty obvious she didn't die. I'm curious what the ramifications are going to be. She's going to come back and be like, you son of a bitch, you killed me. Who is another elf with her tattoos? Like Valana. Oh, my dog is pissed.
Step. What are you doing here? Call off your hound, Shem. I believe I asked you first. Ugh. Fine. I am Ariane of the Dalish people. My keeper sent me to find Asha Belinar, the woman of many years. Many have tried to kill Asha Belinar in the past. Do not claim victory until a few centuries have passed with no sight of her. We thought she could help us find her daughter, Morrigan. The young witch has caused trouble for my clan. Has she earned your ire as well? Morrigan stole an ancient book my clan has guarded since the days of Arlathan. We were the only ones with such a piece of our history. Everything we once had, all legacy of our ancient magics, were stripped from us. First by the Tevinter Magisters, then by the Wretched Circle. And Morrigan took what little was left. 1 month ago, she visited our clan in the name of friendship, and took great interest in our history. She knew exactly what she was looking for. The Keeper allowed her to see the book. 2 nights later, it was gone. For almost 2,000 years, the Dalish people have been wanderers, a shadow of what we once were. This book, as much of a mystery as it is to us, is one of the only clues on how to reclaim that past. My keeper, Solon, says it was a treatise on something the ancients called Alluvian. The word is as old as the book itself, and its meaning has been lost, save perhaps to Morrigan. Help me. We both want Morrigan, and we can aid each other. The Book of Alluvian was reclaimed for my clan by an elven mage who stole it from the Circle of Magi before defecting. He said other similar treasures remain in the library, but they would never allow a Dalish to view them. Perhaps you will meet a different reception. Masirinus,
Happy dog. But yeah, Morgan's going about stealing ancient magic secrets. Wow. You know, I remember saying something about dual weapon warriors being crap. And look who we have. Ooh. This is not good. They didn't unequip my guys of their armor. And I want their armor. Especially Justice's. This is bullshit. I'm gonna have to redo that. I'm gonna have to redo that last fight and get my armor. That's really about all we can do. So I'm just gonna cut it off here. Next time we'll be back with the good armor. Yeah, because once again, it's like, dudes, give me my armor. I worked hard to get that armor. Just give it to me. You piece of shit. So aggravating. Little things like that really piss me off, because now I just have to spend another 15 minutes beating the mother, spamming escape to get through all the dialogue and shit, then getting back here with the armor. And guess what? I want to make you into a tank, regardless of what you say, because I have manuals of focus. Yeah! Anyways, next time I'll be back with good armor, and we'll respec her and make her all good. And then, yeah, we will do Witch Hunt. Rawr! What armor does she have? Actually, her armor's not that bad. It's much better at things, though. Yeah. Anyways, done for now. Next time I'll have my good shit, and we will do Witch Hunt.